into it. Well, in other news, congressional Republicans have been blocked from restoring free speech to pastors. Charlene Aaron has that story from the CBN newsroom. Charlene?
Gordon, it was a measure that would have allowed churches and ministries to speak out about politics, but it has just been stripped from the final tax reform bill in Congress. The battle is all about the Johnson Amendment, which blocks nonprofit groups from talking about political candidates. Republicans were trying to repeal that amendment, but the Senate parliamentarian says it can't be included in the tax bill. There's still a chance, though, because Vice President Mike Pence may be able to overrule that decision. Meanwhile, the overall vote on the tax reform bill is up in the air. Republican Senator Marco Rubio is refusing to support the bill unless it includes a better child tax credit. Plus, Senator John McCain is in the hospital, and Republicans can only afford to lose 2 votes or the bill is blocked. And now to the fight over the future of the Internet. The Federal Communications Commission has voted to eliminate an Obama administration rule that gave government more control over the Internet. But what does it mean for you? CBN's Eric Rosales explains.
Some say the FCC decision will allow you faster access to your favorite Internet. Critics, however, say it allows big corporations to hold your Internet hostage and make you pay more. Regardless, big changes are ahead. Prior to the FCC vote, protesters complained cable and phone companies would suddenly have greater control over what they see and do online.
You're supposedly supposed to be able to speak freely. You're supposed to have that space to speak. The problem is that when we start putting dollar signs on that, we are now limiting people from having the opportunity to not only give information, but also to receive information.
The broadband industry maintains your experience on the web will not change. The FCC commissioner says the previous rules stifled the free market.
This decision will not break the Internet. What we are doing is reverting back to the highly successful, bipartisan, governmental approach that existed before 2015.
Consumers still wonder what it means for them. Critics complain the repeal will lead to higher costs and allow companies to force consumers to purchase bundles of websites, much like cable TV providers do for channel packages. Many question if internet broadband speeds might be affected, while giving certain sites priority over others. Supporters argue that didn't happen before the Obama-era regulations and won't happen now.
So what we want to do is we want to keep the investment train rolling, which we've done by rolling back these regulations, which, by the way, are 1934 landline telephone monopoly regulations.
Seton Motley, president of Less Government, says Thursday's vote puts the industry back in the business environment, which led to its greatest growth.
The internet service providers are in the customer service business. If they do not service the customers, they will no longer be in business. That model has worked for 20 years prior to 2015. It will work again just fine now.
It will likely be months before the latest decision takes effect. Attorney generals in several states have threatened to sue the FCC. Eric Rosales, CBN News, Washington.
And the National Religious Broadcasters is applauding the FCC's move, but they're also pointing out more needs to be done to fight censorship by big tech companies on the Internet. NRB President Jerry Johnson said, now that the FCC has appropriately reversed course, I urge the people's representatives in Congress to take a closer look at issues like viewpoint censorship. Big players like Twitter, Facebook, and Google have been accused of censoring some Christian and conservative viewpoints.